on the News Channel 5 network. This is the plus side of Nashville.
Hi everybody, welcome to the show. I'm Tawanda Coleman. You know, recently I got the chance to meet a woman whose zest for life and passion for what she does inspired and touched me greatly, especially after hearing her life story and what brought her to where she is today. I'm excited for you to meet the founder of Your Heart on Art and hear how she's using art therapy to help suicide survivors and others dealing with traumatic experiences. That's going to be later in today's show. But we're starting things off today talking about during the holidays, it's important to remember that it can be a joyous and celebratory time for some, and a stressful and difficult time for others. When you're the caregiver of a loved one, there really is no holiday vacation or winter break. The Tennessee Respite Coalition is a gift to family caregivers. They step in to help provide much-needed periods of rest and relief. And joining me now is the executive director of the organization, Jennifer Abernathy.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm excited to have you here. It's so good to be able to tell people that you exist.
Yes.
Because we know those caregivers out there who are doing their best to take care of loved ones, whether that be a child with a disability or a parent or a grandparent who needs their care. For folks who may not be familiar with the Tennessee Respite Coalition, talk a little bit about your mission.
Yeah. Well, we are a statewide organization, so we cover the entire state of Tennessee. And we are here to provide that gift of time for family caregivers, whether it be the caregivers that are caring for the children with a disability or caring for their mom. And we do that in a couple of different ways. We have a voucher program that we can reimburse caregivers for the cost of respite, and then we also have a volunteer program in Davidson County that we have volunteers that go out.
Okay. Well, you know the word respite, Jennifer, just some may be like exactly what is that term? Explain for those people who may be struggling to understand what you mean by respite.
Yes, yeah. Well, you know, caregivers it's a 24/7 job. They don't get a break. You know, imagine if you were at your desk at work and your boss came in and said, okay, you can't leave, you don't get a break, and you don't get any vacation time. So what would you do?
Yeah.
And so that's the kind of situation that caregivers are in. So respite is that time for them to take care of themselves, go to their own doctor's appointments, maintain their social connections in the community, or just take an uninterrupted nap.
Yeah. We all need that, don't
Yes.
we? But what I understand and what I've read, I think in your information, caregivers often will decline any help from outside parties who may be, you know, volunteering. You know, I'll come over and sit for a few minutes. Why is that? Why do you think they decline that help?
Yeah, it's something that we see very often, and caregivers sometimes feel that they're the only person that can care for their loved one, and they don't want to give that up, and they feel it's their responsibility. But of course, when you're a caregiver, you have to realize if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to be able to take care of the loved one that you're caring for. So that respite is so important.
Very, very true. Who qualifies for your program?
Well, our helpline that anybody can call gives information to any caregiver of local respite programs around the state, and then it also acts as kind of our intake for our respite voucher program. Now that all depends on whether what the disability of the person is they're caring for. Some of our funding is income-based, so I just always recommend people, if they're in a caregiving situation, to call us and let us worry about the details, whether they qualify or not, because you know it's like putting together a patchwork quilt of funding to cover the state. Sometimes we get geographic restrictions, sometimes we get, you know, disability restrictions, but we'll take care of all that in the background. Just call if you're a caregiver.
That's something caregivers need. It's just a peace of mind of knowing, please don't make me have to think about something else, you know, because they've got so much going on in their minds. What are some of the services when someone calls? Perhaps they just want you to come over and just let me go out for a minute and just do some holiday shopping or just go grocery shopping. What kind of services do you provide?
Well, with the voucher program, we're able to reimburse family caregivers that may have trouble paying for the respite care, because if their money, even if they're making a good income, sometimes that money goes to the medical expenses, paying for insurance nowadays. So that respite care is something that caregivers tend to put on the back burner budget-wise. So with our voucher program, we're able to reimburse the caregivers for the cost of them hiring somebody themselves. So then they have the control and are empowered to decide when they want the respite, who's taking care of their loved one, and how much they're paying. So it's it's totally in their control, and we're just kind of in the background helping them facilitate that.
Peace of mind. I'm just hearing peace of mind there.
Yeah.
Talk about the people who work and who come in and help and assist. If I call you and say I would love for you to come and just sit with my mom, who's going to come?
Well, with the voucher program, it's whoever the caregiver wants.
Do you offer them suggestions for agencies, or do they just?
Well, we can offer some suggestions. We try not to take on that and make the recommendations, just because it's going to be different for every person. People are going to be comfortable with an organization in their house or with an individual. So they can have their neighbor come. They could hire their neighbor. They can hire somebody from their church. They can hire somebody, that their loved one is already comfortable with, so that it's not a huge transition for the caregiver to leave the house and the respite provider coming in.
That's really nice.
Yeah. Now in Davidson County, we do have that Senior Companions program. It's a national service program, and those volunteers in Davidson County are over the age of 55, and they get a small stipend. We send them, make matches into people's homes that need care and have caregivers, and then the caregivers get the respite. The person gets a companion in the home, and the senior with a limited income gets a little extra stipend.
Wow, that's nice for two parties there.
Yes.
It's really, really convenient.
Yeah.
So do you need volunteers, seniors or whomever that might want to volunteer for your program?
Yes, yeah. Our senior companion program just went through recruitment, but we're always looking for possible volunteers for later. So over the age of 55 can always call our office and inquire. And then we're always looking for committee members, marketing committee, finance committee, because we are a nonprofit. So we're we kind of need that volunteer help and expertise, because we do have a small staff. It's me and 2 people covering the entire state. So Mandy and Linda are doing a wonderful job back in the office. So
well, I know as nonprofits, you really do this because you love it. It's not like there's money just pouring in.
Yes.
You have a couple of fundraisers every year that if folks want to help you, tell us about your 2 fundraisers.
Yep. Well, at the end of April, we will be partnering with Jackalope Brewing Company and Bloomy Rhine Cheese and Bounty Bev to be able to do a beer and cheese tasting at the Jackalope Tasting Room. So we're really excited to do that again.
And that's the end of April.
And that's the end of April. And then in September, we'll be doing our larger fundraiser with Jazzin' for Respite, and that has the silent auction and the live auction and live jazz music.
Oh,
so
that sounds
it's
like
a lot of fun.
2 great ways that folks can help. But there's always, just make a donation any time of the year, and really a little bit goes a long way. Talk a little bit about how your donations are distributed.
Yeah. Well, with our voucher program, since our families are able to decide how much they're going to pay and when they're going to use it, it really takes down the cost of an hour of respite. So within that voucher program, an hour of respite is averaging about $5 an hour. So for every $5 that somebody gives to us, that means an hour of respite for a family caregiver.
That is amazing. Just simply $5.
$5
goes a long way.
It makes a difference, yes. And an hour for a family caregiver is can be the difference between a breakdown and continuing to care for their loved one. It's just that hour of rest. So,
Well, how can people get in touch with you if they want to somehow, contact you about the program?
Yeah.
Is information on your website?
yes, the information's on our website, and it's tnrespite.org. They can also email, and our email is info at tnrespite.org, or call our office at 615-269-8687.
And then what about the process? You probably, I'm sure, have to kind of go through a vetting process as to who gets to be a part of the program. Do they have to fill out lots of paperwork?
No, we try and keep the amount of paperwork down
Okay.
for the family caregivers. So they are able to, we take all the information over the phone, and then they need to provide 2 pieces of documentation, which is a proof of diagnosis of the loved one they're caring for, and also some kind of proof of income, just so that we can determine which funding source would be best for them. And then that's it. That's all we need. It's
Wow.
very quick, very easy, and we're able to, to help as many people as we can.
Well, you are doing great work here
you.
in the whole state of Tennessee. I'm so glad we were able to tell our viewers about the Tennessee Respite Coalition. And let's give that website one more time.
It's tnrespite.org.
tnrespite.org, and respite is RESPITE.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here, Jennifer.
Thank
we
you.
really, really do appreciate it. And I do hope that you will take advantage of the services. If you are someone that's taking care of a child or taking care of your mother, your father, your grandparents, and you really need that break, you deserve it. And I give these folks a call. Well, we'll be back with more right after this.